Step 7 has a tool that allows us to view the different networks in a project and how all the different hardware items are connected together. If we click on the project folder on the left side of the window, you see we'll see all the different hardware items that make up the project on the right side. If we click the different toolbar buttons, we get different views of those PLCs and networks and operator interfaces. If we use the one on the right for details, we get the most information. You see here we have an MPI, or multi-point interface network. That's a part of every project because that is our PLC programming network. So any project that has a PLC is going to have that. We can click either network here to open our tool. We can either double click or right click and then select open object from the pop-up menu that we get when we right click on that network, and that opens our NetPro tool. You see here we have both the MPI, or multi-point interface network, and also a Profibus remote I/O network. Here's the S7315-2 DP CPU on the PLC that we've got, and he is connected to the MPI network at address number 2 on the MPI. Address 2 is the default for all CPUs as they come out of the box. So if we had more than one CPU on here, we'd need different addresses for each. You see also he's a DP master, also at address number 2. That happens to be the same address we used for MPI, but it doesn't have to be. Just do that to make it a little easier to keep up with who's who. On our MPI network, we have a connection out here to a TP27, which is a Somatic OP. That's a touchscreen HMI device that we use as an operator interface back over MPI talking to the S7315 PLC. You see he is at address 1, which is the default for all Somatic OPs, again, as they come out of the box. So if we had multiple OPs, we'd have to use different addresses so they would not interfere with one another. We also have a Profibus I/O slave out there that's a drive that's been added. And to see that, we go to View and click on DP Slaves. And everything's kind of shoved over here to the left, so we can click and drag and move those out to where we can see them a little better. And here we see we've got our MicroMaster on Profibus at address number 3. So everything has to have a unique address that doesn't interfere with anybody else on the network. You see he's connected back to the S7315 DP master. He's on Master System 1 and connected with a Profibus named Profibus Sub 2, which just happens to be the name that we've used for that Profibus. And you can follow a connection back over to the S7315 PLC. Now, something we can do to make sure our network is correct and it's going to function is go to Network and run Consistency Check. That checks to make sure we haven't duplicated addresses and everyone's connected to a valid network. See, we have no errors here. We can close that. And we also have the ability from NetPro to print out a configuration of this network if we want to keep that for a reference. And if we had more networks than just the Profibus or the one MPI, they would all show up here on this screen. Say no, we don't want to save the changes as we close NetPro, and we're back into our Somatic Manager where we see the different networks that are part of our project. So now we know how to go out and see those connections.